Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to start off looking at the Transformers Titans Return Wave 3 line in a big way. This guy slices and dices because he's a ninja. He can also go underwater, shoot you with tank turrets, fly. Okay, so he can do just about anything that you could think of. And I think that's pretty great. So we're going to take a look at this guy. It is the leader class Sixshot with his Titan Master partner Revolver in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. Check out Machinery Man, the Everything Factor. Look for me everywhere and stick around the playlist for a bit. See what tickles your fancy. And this is the box that this guy comes in. I don't usually spend much time on these things. It's a cool box. It says that he has 6 modes. Technically 7 if you really want to, if you really want to get technical about it, but we'll talk about that later. It's the artwork. The back has the write-up and the modes, the stock images as you would expect. So nothing new there. So I'll take that out of it. That being said, I always do like to point this one thing out. Usually the Titan Master does something to like improve the bot that it's connected with. Basically, Revolver is just as dangerous as Sixshot, and we're going to start off with this, his collector card. Now I'll say this: I love the art on the collector card. As a matter of fact, it is a little more accurate to the animation in the toy than the actual toy is. I would have liked this paint scheme, and I'll talk about a couple of differences as we go through. On the back, of course, we have the tech specs. I think they're pretty accurate. I sort of expected his speed to be higher, but generally I would say that that's pretty accurate, to be honest with you. So we'll take that out of it. Okay, so the next thing, and I'm going to show this guy now, I'm going to show him once, because I have zero intention of using Sixshot as a headmaster because he wasn't actually a headmaster. So this is his little Titan Master Revolver, and see if I can get that a little bit better for you there. Revolver looks like every other Titan Master. He's a 2. He's largely unpainted. It is what it is. And of course he turns into Sixshot's head, as you can see. He even has a little ninja inspired sash, I guess, across his forehead. So that's Revolver. Now he does integrate in every mode. I'll show that as we go through. But I don't intend to use him that way. And that's one of the cool things about this guy, is that if you don't want him to act as a Titan Master or a Headmaster, he doesn't have to. In fact, getting Revolver out is a bit of a pain. To put him in, like everybody else, there's a space up here in the top. You push Revolver down like that, and you bring down the helmet. That being said, I do wish that the eyes were a little more, I don't know, pronounced, I suppose. I think that would have been nice. This guy is big. How big is he? Well, here he is next to Titans Return Brainstorm, who I had a complete look at in episode 206. I love this guy, by the way. Taking him out of it, and here he is next to the probably the one comparison that is very appropriate for this guy. There he is next to the Combiner Wars Leader Class Ultra Magnus. I looked at this guy in full way back in episode 77. Of course, he's going to be part of the, or is, I guess I should say, part of the Platinum Edition Heroes box set. And actually, I looked at all the figures in that set around the same time that I looked at this guy. I also looked at the G1 version of Ultra Magnus back in episode 160. But anyway, you can see how they scale together. And of course that's appropriate because in the Headmaster series it was Sixshot who brought about Ultra Magnus's demise. This guy is impressive in a lot of ways. I've heard it said that he's indicative of G1 with more articulation, and you know what? He really, really is. So we're going to run through each mode. I was trying to figure out how to do this with the most sense, because you know, if you've seen any of my content, that I always like to begin things from the way he comes in package, which is the way we are here right now. I'm going to show you each mode going kind of one from the other, but I'm going to show it in relation to the way he comes in a package. You'll see what I mean as we get going. This is mode number 1, his robot mode. And in this mode, what can I say? His paint apps are, they're a solid 9. They're solid 9 in all modes for who he is. Why do I say 9 and not 10? Well, these little circular pieces here on his abdomen, they should be white. His thighs should also be white. And if you really wanted to grudge it, some people would argue that the claws of the front paws of the wolf mode should also be white. Sometimes they were white in the animation, sometimes they were black. That being said, I like the black thighs. I kind of like the kind of translucenty plastic that's used on these knobs, and the claws, black claws on a wolf seems to make sense to me. But because it's not 100% accurate, I do have to knock it ever so slightly. Also, there's no detailing up on these wings. The toy had it. The animation, they were all black. So 9, solid 9. That is, I guess, a good start for this guy. We'll go into posability, playability. I'll say this, you know, he makes an okay tank. I wish that things were slightly more solid there. Fine wolf, fine armored vehicle, a fine submarine, and a pretty good, now everybody calls it a plane. I don't think it's a plane. I think it's supposed to be a space cruiser mode. You know, pretty good in all those, and of course not a whole lot of articulation necessary there, but we'll talk about it as we go through. In this mode, the head does go left and right. It can go up and down ever so slightly. The arms can go out, you know, about this much. It'd be nice if they could go a little further. If you bring the hinge out, you can get slightly more, but that's kind of mistransforming them a bit. As for the elbow, well, in a package, his arms are collapsed. Now, I took one out, so I have one collapsed now and one extended. I think in robot mode they're supposed to be collapsed, which gives you an elbow bend of just under 90 degrees. But when they're extended, as you can see right there, but when they're extended, you get a little over 90 degrees. So my advice would be extend the arm. Why not? Why not extend the arm? We have a bicep swivel, nothing at the wrist, unless you want it to bend back, because it does that for transformation. No waist. When we get to the legs, we'll move his arms here kind of out of the way. When we get to the legs, they hinge out all the way to the side. They have a ratchet back, but only go back to there because of this back piece. And they can ratchet all the way forward because the skirt pieces do move. So that's nice. We have a thigh swivel. We have a knee that goes back to 90 degrees. Here's the weird thing about the knee, because of transformation, it also goes ahead 90 degrees. So he can like break his leg, I guess. So as you can see, he does have a lot of articulation. pretty much everything you'd want. A waist would be nice. Oh, and technically, because of transformation, he does have ankle tilts, but I mean his legs are going to be way open, and because of the hinges, they do kind of slide down. But he does have it. It's a big, it's a big. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess space in between ratchets. So something to bear in mind is all. Something that you might want to keep in mind. Overall, though, he's solid. He stands really well. I mean, he has such wide feet. I've been able to get him in pretty much whatever pose I want. Honestly, I'm going to give that a 9. I think that it's really good. So he's a 9 across the board so far. We're going to go into transformation. I guess the easiest one to go into from here would be his wolf mode. We'll go into his wolf mode. That will be mode number 2. Okay, so where do we begin to put this guy in wolf mode? Well, we're going to do a couple of things that really sort of stand true the whole time. Actually, you might also want to take note that in this mode, bot mode, before I go on, I have his weapon stored back on these wings. The best spot if you don't want him in his hands for this mode. And I don't really dig his weapons. They're kind of small and dinky, It is what it is. They fit in his hands. They have a couple of pegs and slots. They do slot together, and you need that done for certain modes. Of course, there's a couple of pegs in here. If you had Revolver off, you could put him down inside of the pegs and have him, I guess, sit on the edge. Now, I've heard that he pops off the pegs. Honestly, I don't know, and I'm not that interested to find out. So we're going to just lay those aside for now. A couple of things to do that really is true for every single mode. And I'm about to show you why you don't need to use this guy as a headmaster. Open up the chest and take the whole head and put it inside. Take the wing pieces and you fold them up, and the, I guess, chest cavity has a slot over here and a slot over here, and when you push this up, the wing pieces go right into those slots. It's a bit of, I think it's a bit ingenious, to be honest with you. The legs don't do a lot through any of the transformations. The arms are the big key. So we're gonna try and do wolf first. Well, honestly, to do wolf, you bend them over at the waist. And you take these arms and you bend them down because they're going to become the front legs. You put the fists back up into the forearms. And you bring out his claws. I'll do this now. Bring out his claws, and I guess you can just bring the legs back a little bit and open this up a little bit. You're going to take the wings and put them, back like that, I guess, for his winged look. And you're going to flip up the head. And that's it, really, for wolf mode. There is one other thing to do, but I'll show that now in a minute. I think it looks okay. Actually, I guess I'll show it now. Back right here on the green, there are 2 little nubs. Those 2 little nubs go into 2 holes here and here on the weapon. That gives him his wolf tail. Some people have said that that doesn't tab in very securely. Mine does. So I'm happy about that. If you don't like the winged look and you don't want them out, you can push these wings all the way down and bring them up on his back, or you can push them all the way down and bring them down to the side. You'll notice that in his head here there is an opening. You would put Revolver in his head mode and slot him in there to fill in that gap. Honestly though, it really doesn't bother me. In this mode, the wing pieces still move, the legs are still independent. You can bend the knee back, you can't bend it forward obviously. The toes move, the heel spur moves. These arm pieces, if you want, you can bring them out like that, which is what I do, just so you can get a little butterfly forward and butterfly back. They can still go all the way around. The elbows still work. The little talon, you know, claw pieces on the front move. The mouth opens and closes. Yeah, opens and closes. The head goes up and down. It'd be nice if the head could go left and right. That's about the only weakness that he has in this mode. It's still a great mode. It looks good. I'm impressed. I am impressed so far. So we're going to move on from this one because I feel like with so much to cover, we got to move kind of quickly here. And I'm going to take the guns off of the back. We're going to stand him up, and we're going to put these arms down. And I'm even going to fold back that head. And we're going to go from this mode into his next mode, which is his tank. Okay, moving on to number 3, the tank. This is kind of back in robot mode-ish. You would close up these things. By the way, there are little black treads on the side here. Sometimes they're around front when this is a paw, and sometimes they're left to the side. I like them left to the side, but you can have them out front. So we do that. We turn these shoulder pieces forward. Nothing too difficult yet. We collapse the arm, and you turn it such that this little tread piece and this little tread piece line up. Collapse the arm and turn it so both tread pieces are out. And collapse the shoulders in if you had them out like I did for wolf mode. Upper body, pretty much done. We come down here, and this is where things get a little bit fiddly. You push up the toe claws, and this is what you have now. You straighten these claws out, so it looks like that, and you remove the whole, I guess, bottom part of the leg from the knee. You're going to slide and slide, and you're going to bend the legs up around the back, and I guess position them however you want them positioned. And we're almost done. You push the wing pieces down till they lock. You heard that. These wing pieces lock in extremely tight. Finally, you take the two halves of the combined gun that we had, and see if I can show this. There is a... where is it? Is it right? Is it right there? I'm just trying now to determine. Here we go. On the purple, you'll see a tab right here. On the purple side of his leg. In this gun piece, there is a tab or a slot right here next to where my finger is. A little slot right there. And that little slot will go on over the tab, and that's what gives you, I guess we'll call it the gun turrets in tank mode. There's that one, and no, they're not hard to put on, it's just I'm trying to do it here now from a bit of a distance. And it's deciding to be a pain. There we go. And boom, there you go. Sixshot in his tank mode. It's you know, it's all right. I do wish that the guns were bigger. The legs don't really tab in, so in a way that's bad, but I guess you can aim the things up and down. They can't go left and right. The arms don't really tab in, but they're not gonna move. The joints are really, really smooth and tight on this guy. And if you had Revolver out, you could open up the little cockpit section here and Revolver would go in right there. Right there. So putting that back down. That's him in the tank mode. And he rolls okay. There's a little wheel here on this tread and a little one on this tread and one here in the middle. He rolls okay, not the best rolling, but you know, I mean, it's a 6-shot tank. It is exactly what it should be, which is a bit weird. Okay, so we're going to go into his 4th mode, but in order to do that, we're going to take those guns off. We're going to, oh, by the way, in this mode, on the wing pieces here, you'll notice that they have the connector sections for becoming part of a base, and I don't normally care about showing instructions, and trust me, this guy comes with a big set of instructions. But I am going to show this because I found it humorous. We have in the instructions, I don't know if you can see it down right here. We have, it says Sixshot over on the side, who's connected to Soundwave, who's connected to Fortress Maximus, who's connected to Blaster. And all together they're called Cybertron City. In what messed up universe is a couple of Decepticons going to link up to make a city with Autobots? I'm hoping that this guy will be able to connect with Trypticon eventually. But that's another story for another time. Bringing these legs back down. Bringing these legs back down. And we kind of have them in robot mode again. And we're going to go into our next mode. And what's our next mode? Well, let's say we'll do the car, armored car carrier next. Okay, folks, so we're going to move into the car mode. Again, the arms stay down where they're to. You turn out the tires. You turn out these tires and you extend the arm. You turn out this tire and extend the arm. And that's a big chunk of it already done, to be honest with you. You can, and probably should, also take the tank treads, put it up on the side, and the other tank tread, and put it up on the side. Let's move the arms kind of out of the way at the moment, and we'll even take the wing pieces and move them up out of the way at the moment, because it makes doing what we need to do on the lower body that much easier. On the lower body, well, first things first, we turn him around, so now we're looking at his back. We turn the leg, and we turn the leg so that, I guess what was the front of the leg is now facing outward, right? This was, here, I'll show it from this side. Front of the legs, and now they're facing outward. I'll come back here and turn them around. We basically now kind of combine our wars his leg. We bring it out, we collapse it, and we bring it out, and we collapse it. Once we do that, there is a peg on the inside of his leg, a black peg here on the inside of his leg, and there's a hole on the inside of this leg. That's your guide for kind of putting the legs together. Oh, also, there's a little spur here. I find that having it up, even in car mode, makes it easier for stuff to peg together. I think that might be mileage may vary, but hey, it was worth noting. And we pegged the legs together, just like that. Close these claw pieces in, and flip these pieces out. Almost like a little cow catcher-esque look. Now, on the silver, maybe I should bend that down. On the silver right here, there's a little space on the inside of the arm, and it's shown in the instructions, but it's not clear. On the inside of the arms, on the forearm, there's a little rectangular peg. You need to bring that down, bring that whole shoulder down actually. So you're going to unpeg the shoulder and bring it all the way down, and unpeg this shoulder and bring it all the way down. Ooh, turn that piece around. And now you need to tab in the little tabs I was just telling you about. I'm going to tell you now, they're kind of tight to do, which is a good thing, because really, at the end of the day, don't you want the guide to be held together securely? I do. There. And you take these wing pieces and bring it down around the side, and this wing piece down around the side, like that. And we're just about done this mode. You take those gun pieces again, and on the wings, here and here, you have two little circles. It's not the pegs that go into his hand that belong in those circles. The pegs that go into his hand are right here. But there's another peg right here, and that little peg there is what you are sliding down into place on the wing and on the wing. And he rolls like a champion in this mode. He is fantastic. Here's a closer look at him. Again, weird car, but it's very, very true to Sixshot. Exactly how Sixshot should look. No doubt. You can put a Titan Master on this side, a Titan Master on this side, as there are two openings right here. You could also still use this cockpit section here, so he can hold 3 Titan Masters. There's also 4 or 5 maybe pegs kicking around on this guy, where you could stand other Titan Masters, but he rolls great, and it's solid. It stays together really, really well. I love it. So, let's see, we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 modes. We only got 2 left. And the next one is going to be, let's go into his space cruiser / jet mode next. And we're going to start him really from right here, looking just like this. Okay, so from right here, what do we do to go into this weird jet mode thing? Actually, it's really easy from here. Again, if we were starting from robot, we would flip the head in and flip these pieces in, and that would, you know, make life pretty easy. We would take the arms this time, and I guess I should unpeg the wing pieces on the back here. We take the arms and we would put them up, and we would put them up. We would take the shoulder pauldron pieces and turn it, and turn it just like that. If I'm not mistaken. No, wrong. My mistake. They do turn, but you keep turning them so that now the tire is facing in by the body. I knew that they weren't quite locking in as they should. You would take the arms, and if you had them extended, you would close them and shorten them back up. And in this case, you would open the chest and bring out those black wings, because you know this thing is going to fly. Apparently it's going to fly. That's what I'm told. Flip in the little, I don't know, toe pieces, I guess we'll call it. Come to the back, and you heard me just tab in, take those guns off. You heard me just tab in these silver pieces again. Some people have complained that their silver paint has worn off, mine hasn't. You bring out the wings. You can see how close we are here to having this done. Lay him down so that he's lying on his back. Bring this piece and this piece out. And now you want to turn the very toe, which is pretty tight to be honest with you. And turn the very toe. And bring these pieces together right out front. And they all snap together like that. Make sure that's all as straight as you can get it. And really, boom, that's basically it. We're going to take the blasters that he has, and on the edges of the wings, you can use that same slot that we used earlier to peg the blaster on over, and same on the other side. Over like that. My toes, they don't like to stay together all the time, but I think that depends on how tightly you've managed to get the legs collapsed. But in the end, here you go. Sixshot in his space cruiser mode. And again, it's a weird looking plane, but it is extremely, excessively Sixshot-esque. That being said, where do you put the Titan Master in this mode if you don't have him in the head left inside the chest? This is where things get a little weird in this mode. You would open the chest, and the instructions, as best as I can tell, have you leave the head out and put the Titan Master in here, in this section in here. I don't dig that, because then you'd have a, you know, you'd have this mode looking like this. That's ridiculous in my opinion. Don't do that. Just leave the head in there and close it in and do that. And boom. I like it. I think it's effective. Again, I think it's effective. Now, that means we got one more to go, and that's going to be the submarine mode. Perhaps the most controversial mode. And how are we going to go into him? Well, first of all, we're going to split this front section. I will do that now. And turn the toe back around. Well, not the toe, but turn the tip back around. If I can get it to turn around all the way. There we go. And we'll bring that back up on the side. And I'm going to take these little gun pieces off. And lay them to the side. And we're going to imagine, yet again, that Sixshot is in robot mode. Okay, so submarine time. Yay, submarine time. By the way, in the plane mode, there's one thing I did neglect to do. These pieces here, really you should turn them around so that you don't see the back tires by rights. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you're supposed to do that. And sometimes these treads are left down under the arm, so you could, if you wanted to make the arm look a bit different, you could do it that way. If you wanted, you know, in the plane mode, and here I'll just bring this out quickly to, you know, if you wanted the arm to look a little bit different, you could do it that way and just leave the treads down. Not a big deal. In fact, some even do it this way, where they have the, you know, the tire down on the bottom. So you can kind of do what you want with the arms. The way I showed you is the way I do it. Anyway, That being said, we'll take this and bring it back up on the side. There's so many options with this guy. I love it. Absolutely, positively love it. So how do we do this guy? Well, this time we want to bring the tire out and bring the tire out. Because apparently for a submarine they should be facing out. If you didn't have the treads brought up on the side of the arm, now you still have them down underneath, bring them up on the side of the arm, just like I have done there. You will now want to open the chest and put those wing pieces back in and close the chest back up. Head is still, of course, in there, right? And this is still kind of our robot mode. You open the legs, and a lot of people complain about these little teeth in here latching over one another. I'll admit it's a bit of a pain, so I tend to take the legs apart a little first and kind of move them a bit, and it makes it easier to bring those out. Bring the legs down. All the way again. And normally now we would have the legs out front this way for robot mode. But we're going to still leave the front of the leg turned out to the side, and we're going to collapse them together again. Now, I need to take those teeth out. We're doing the exact same thing as we did when we had the legs collapsed, except now they're not collapsed. No big deal. Close that up, close that up. And that's what we have so far. Looks pretty good, looks all right. And now instead of laying him on his back like we did for his plane mode, we lay him on his stomach. Couple options here. Some people just open the mouth of the wolf and bring these two pieces up like that. And they do this because they say, well, you could turn it around and then you got, his traditional iconic blaster mode. That being said, I will lay him down here just for a moment. The weapons, again, go integrated here. You peg them together. And on the purple piece, we use, just like we did in tank mode, we use the two pegs that are on the, I guess, hood of the car, technically is what it is. And you should be able to bring that down over like that. So again, blaster mode, and people say with the mouth open, that's like a little trigger. Yeah, okay, sure, I get that, no problem. Since it's officially supposed to be a submarine mode, what you are by right supposed to do is take up the wolf head, and on the side of the wolf head, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this now or not, let's see. On the side of the wolf head, right here, there's a very little tab, and same on the other side. On the silver wing, there's a very little slot right here, kind of on an angle. You should be able to bring it up, and if you line it up correctly, and that's the trick, lining it all up correctly, but if you line it all up correctly, you should be able to have those little tabs go into the wolf's head to, hold on, to keep everything secure. And there you go. It was hard to do. Sorry about that. Sorry, I know it was off screen, but it's very small and very specific. But you see wolf's head up between the two, I don't know, wing spires, I guess, you would obviously see where it tabs in. Trust me, you would obviously see it. It is extremely noticeable if you are looking for it. But there you go. That's his submarine mode, or if you prefer, it is his blaster mode. And that's really everything to do with this guy. Going between all these modes is so easy. His transformation is pretty simple, considering he has to do 6 things. Honestly, that is, you know, you might have a couple of issues with things tabbing together a little more, you know, of a pain than you would like for them to be. But at the end of the day, he's really, really good. If there is one leader figure that you should probably get, especially if you never had the G1 Sixshot, but if there's one, you know, leader figure that you should probably invest in, if you've been on the fence about, I would suggest to you it's probably this guy. He is fun. He looks good. Honestly, he's great in every way that he needs to be great. And so true to exactly what he was in our childhood. Granted, in North America, we didn't get a whole lot of Sixshot, but when he did come, we saw those 6 modes, and let's be honest, we all thought that this guy was pretty darn cool. Overall score, 9. Across the board for this guy, and a very strong 9. He's a great figure. And I guess that's all, finally, that I have to say about it. So, that being said, I really appreciate you giving me some of your valuable time to look at Sixshot, and I really look forward to the next time you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.